So I think we can all agree that 5 minutes does actually matter, right? Like our time is valuable, but this whole 5 minutes matters thing or quick tidying, does it actually work? Let's find out today. Well, hello friends, I'm Mary Beth with At What Cost, where simple living and deep faith go hand in hand. The first place I heard this was from my dear friend, Dawn from The Minimal Mom. She did a great video on this last year. I'm really curious to see how much 5 minutes will really matter in my home. But before we get to kind of the before and afters and I give you the rundown, I want to give you a little context because part of the reason I'm curious about whether or not this will actually work for our home is that I feel like what I really need is about a day in every single area of my home. In a very heavily decluttered, minimalized home that is regularly maintained, 5 minutes probably does go a long way. And although I still feel and see and wholeheartedly believe in the benefits of minimalism, we kind of reached a tipping point. So there's this cycle that I think minimalism really helps to kind of stop. And that's a big part of a cycle, right? A cycle goes around and around and around. There's a cue, and then there's an action, and then there's an outcome, and then something cues it, and it just goes round and round and round. So if you can disrupt that cycle at one of the points, then you disrupt the entire kind of cue, action, outcome. Or when you have a cue and you give a different action, you get a different outcome. So when we start to pull back on all the things that are in our homes, it really can make a difference in how well we declutter. And part of the catalyst or the cue, the thing that starts this cycle, can be feelings of overwhelm and anxiety, anger, confusion, just a general feeling of inadequacy in being able to not just keep our homes clean, but manage life in general. Those feelings can be very powerful in getting you started on the road to decluttering. But you tell me in the comments if you can relate to this. I have gotten to a point lately where my level of overwhelm is so high that it's no longer motivating, but it feels defeating. So in this area, I feel like 5 minutes is going to go a long way. Let me show you an area where I feel like 5 minutes is not going to matter at all. Are you ready for it? If you ever think that I just always have it put together all the time, you're so wrong, friend. So I'm going to be very vulnerable. I'm just going to give you the full-on tour. So this is, as soon as you walk into our home, this is our living room. Here's Gunner and our kitchen. So this is all one big space, as you can see. And so it really does end up being very lived in. And as you can tell, this is also kind of a dropping point for different things. So I do my Bible study here typically if I'm not upstairs, and there's Halloween costume pieces and the dog's costume, and that's a bin for our Halloween decorations. And then the saga continues over here in our kids' closets for their hats and coats and shoes and book bags and all of the things. So now you can see where I'm coming from. Does this look like 5 minutes is gonna matter? I feel like this one table may be 5 minutes. And then my other areas over here, that other table may be 5 minutes, and this table over here may be 5 minutes. And then I'm gonna take the Halloween decorations down and maybe that's another 5 minutes. I'm not at 5 minutes anymore. I'm at an hour to do 3 little spaces. And it feels very overwhelming. So I have about 15 minutes, which means I can tackle 3 different places. My oldest son went to Disney on Ice with a former teacher. She's she is so wonderful. And then our other two boys are at swimming lessons with my husband. So I have like 15 minutes before they're going to be home. So I am going to go do that now. Okay, so I got my 5 minutes done here. I got most everything done. It's cleared off at least. It looks nice. I just need to put the stools back and slide this little art cart back. And I got that little rascal moved. He kept trying to get in the kennel while I was moving it. But he is where he needs to be. This is looking a lot better. These are some bags from their Halloween costumes. I need to put the costumes back in those bags. And then this is looking pretty good. And of course, those Christmas, Operation Christmas Child boxes will go when it is collection week. Oh, I need to throw that little Captain America thing away. But that's looking a lot better. Okay, so now I am going to tackle this living room. That's the goal. Let's set another 5-minute timer and get it moving. Alexa, set a timer for 5 minutes.
5 minutes, starting now.
Okay, so it's not perfect, but it is much better than it was. I got one of the tables cleared off, which was not hard. There was only like 2 things on it. And then this other end table next to me, there's stuff that has to go to other homes, but now I at least know what is on here and I know where the stuff needs to go. And then bonus points because we found my son's spelling words. So they were in a pile of papers and I need to look and make sure they're actually for, yeah, they were for last week. See, this is what happens. This is why this overwhelms me and stresses me out, is because I know that there are things in here that we probably needed, but I'm so busy chasing after all of the other things that some of this goes by the wayside. So we had been practicing a lot of these, so at least hopefully he got the review ones, but yeah. All right, so 10 minutes in and I've got 2 spaces that are relatively clean now, or at least relatively tidy. They're not clean. Cleaning is a whole other, it's a whole other thing. So I've got one more 5-minute space and I don't know if I'm actually gonna make it before they get home. So we'll see. I may challenge them to the 5-minute tidy in that closet. I may actually wait a few minutes for them to come home and do that. I think that's a better idea. So while we're waiting for them to come home, I want to talk about a couple of things that I think will make this 5 minutes a lot more successful for you. The first thing that I have learned from this is to really have a plan of where you want to spend your 5 minutes, because 5 minutes goes by fast. Not so fast that you can't get things done, but fast enough that it's over sometimes before you know it. Like when I was doing this living room, it was over before I knew it. So really having a plan. I have one more target area right there, that closet. There's a reason it has a door. And this area here, and then that area in my office. So having those target areas really helped to keep my focus on all of those 5 minutes exactly where I needed to be. My other tip, put on some good music, mostly because a lot of songs are like 2.5 to 5 minutes long. So you can listen to a couple of songs and let that be your timer, which may also have some carryover effect where you may find yourself enjoying the tidying and you go a few more songs just so you can continue to listen to some good music. That is my key. I love to listen to music while I'm decluttering or cleaning. I try to find like good upbeat songs for you guys to listen to while I'm doing that so that you can do this alongside me. But having some good like motivation like that in some music, or maybe listening to a podcast, I think that would go a long way in helping to keep you motivated through that 5 minutes too. And the other thing I learned is that if you're not done, keep going. Maybe it takes you 6 minutes or 8 minutes, but either way, you're still going to get there and it's still going to be clean, and it's not going to take the hours that you think it will when you look at this. And along those same lines, if you finish early, be done. If that space is what you set out to do and you want to move on to something else, even if you haven't done the 5 minutes, the goal really is to get our spaces tidied up and more manageable so that we don't feel so overwhelmed in our homes. So if you finish in 3 minutes, go take that 2 minutes to do something else. Okay, are you guys ready?
Yes.
You got 5 minutes. I want you to clean up the closet. So that means taking all the trash out of it.
Yes.
Putting the shoes in the right bins, yes. Hanging your book bags up.
Yes.
You got 5 minutes to do it.
Yes, do this.
Alexa, set a timer for 5 minutes. Would you looky there?
Piece of
High
candy.
five. Yes, you can have a piece of candy.
How about Thomas? Right now.
Well, that didn't take 5 minutes. That took like 2 minutes. Well, we got all 3 of our areas done today. So we spent our 5 minutes here at the desk, 5 minutes in our living room, and then you just saw the boys do their 5 minutes or less. It actually took them about 3.5 minutes to clean up that entire closet. So I would encourage you, if you have a space that you could spend just 5 minutes in, go do that. And if you have a space that could use like 3 hours, at least go spend 5 minutes. It may, if anything, give you a little like lay of the land to kind of help prepare you and motivate you to keep going. So I would definitely say that 5 minutes does matter, and it actually does work. Thanks so much for watching, and until I see you again, keep fighting the good fight.